It's very serious, Jon. Welcome to So Funny It Hurts. I'm your host, Michaela Gordon. And this week I'm so not excited. Do you know what I'm saying? To have this guest on. He not only is a dear friend of mine, an amazing comedian for over 80 years. Please welcome to the show and owner of Sticky Paws Studios, the guy that actually gave me a chance to have my own podcast, Jon Orlando.
That's right. You'd be nothing without me. You remember that.
I would never forget it, Ike. I just want my name.
You know, I picked you up off the, you're in the gutter out there with a sign. We'll podcast for food. And we were like, no, let's do this right.
I was much fatter than I think I was eating just
What is
fine.
going on with you? You look amazing. How much have you,
Go
do you track?
on.
What have you lost? Do you know the number?
Well, listen, I'm 5'2".
Right.
I think I've lost maybe 12 pounds, but it's a big difference.
It's ridiculous.
Well, you know what's funny?
You look like a fitness girl now.
Well, you helped me so much.
How?
You helped me in a lot of ways, actually.
Tell me.
I want to talk about your career, but I want to talk
No,
maybe
let's
from
talk
the
about how
beginning.
great I am
Let's
first.
talk about how great you are. No, I met you it's not even been a year
Really?
that we met.
Okay.
And it was a really insane time for me, which we can get into because I'm practicing vulnerability in therapy. So I
like it.
Will,
all right.
I will open up.
Good.
And thank you. We met. I did a podcast here for Christina, another girl who's darling. We love her. And that's when we met. And I was having really bad ulcers. I was having like a bunch of issues and I didn't have any insurance. And I hit you up and you were like, all right, listen, go to this guy, kind of follow this. And I've been doing almost a year. No, it'll be a year in April. No alcohol, no gluten, and no dairy.
Wow.
And I feel
it's
amazing.
easy, right? After the first couple weeks.
So easy.
Right.
Once you fit into your clothes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once you start getting some results. I mean, you've got like a six-pack now. What's going on?
I know. Listen.
The booties
I'm a
doing what
monster.
booties do.
I'm in the UFC.
You
now.
got this cool trainer, though, too.
The trainer's the best. The best trainer. He's crazy. I mean, listen, it really does work. You've said, because you lost a bunch of weight, too.
Yeah, 35
You
pounds.
kind of like kicked this off with Dana White.
Yeah.
And
Dana White and
you
Gary
were
Brecka.
like, and Gary, we love Gary Brecka.
Love Gary Brecka.
Love Gary Brecka.
Yeah.
And you kind of like had your own transformation.
Yeah.
And that really did inspire me to do it. Also, I was just in a
love
lot
it.
of pain. I needed to.
If I could change one life, I don't know.
You changed mine.
There you go. All right.
You did change mine. You also gave me the opportunity to do my podcast, So Funny It Hurts here. And we will get into it because in all seriousness, I love you so much. You're such a dear friend to
I love you
me.
too.
Yeah, that's fucking right.
I got in trouble. Do you want to explain?
I do want to explain.
I got in trouble 2 weeks ago with her. We were on the phone.
Yeah.
And she goes, I love you. And what did I say? I just hung up or something?
He said, okay, and hung up.
And then you
I called you back.
Did you call me back or
I
was
did.
it a text
and then you
message?
were like, this is literally how it went. All right, Jon, I love you. Bye. And you were like, bye. And I was like, this motherfucker. Hello. And you were like, I'm in a meeting. I'm what? And I was like, say I love you back. Say it. And you were like, what? Okay, I love you back. Yeah, because I love you and you're my friend. So you'll fucking say it back.
And then the other day I did it though, and I did it today on the
You've
text.
been doing good.
On text, you were like, I love you.
Now
da, da,
you're
da, da.
saying
And I was
it
like,
where
I love you
it doesn't
too.
make sense. I said,
Right.
you're going to be late. You said,
Now
I
I
love you.
overly say it. I just want to make sure I get credit.
But we also love Vanessa so much. But I love you.
It's
You're
different love.
Different love.
Right. But
For
I
the
just,
record.
I'm out there. I'm in it.
Yeah, but you're my little sweet angel.
I'm loving back.
Yeah, you are loving
Not
back.
a day goes by I'm not loving back.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to say it loud and proud.
Okay.
And I
was in Walmart.
Did you
Getting
say it?
bread, fired off text. Love you. Hope you're having a good day.
Good. Did you
No, I
tell the
didn't,
lady that checked you out?
Tell them all.
Good. People need to hear it.
The baggers, the greeters, everyone getting love. Except that Salvation Army guy at Christmas. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Wait, listen. Were you told, because they say that when you want to say I love you a lot,
Yeah.
it's either because you were told a lot that I love you or you weren't at all. For me, I feel like I didn't hear it enough.
Oh.
So I like to let people know, like, I love you when I really do genuinely.
Right.
Did you have a lot of I love yous growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a really functional life.
Yeah.
We've talked about this, which
Yeah.
kind of ruins the whole point of my show. Actually, can you get
I've
the
had
fuck
no
out?
pain.
That
I have
was
no
enough.
pain. Yeah.
Travis, can you just cut everything off?
Yeah, we're turning it off. See,
Yeah. I don't have.
You didn't have any pain.
No.
But you
I had
started
pain later,
doing,
but not younger.
Well, you started doing because listen, you're a business owner, you're a phenomenal poker player, but you were a stand-up comic and still are. That never goes away. For many years.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. When
Wasn't
did you?
good, though.
Yes,
Wasn't
you
good.
were.
No,
good,
no.
you psycho.
Bad writer. Not a good writer.
Are you not?
No.
Were you more of an improv comedian?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I felt really my whole comedy career. I felt like a guy playing a comedian on stage. If that makes any sense. I was never myself on stage.
Which is so weird because you're so funny in real life.
Thank you. I'll take it. Yeah, because I started opening for my dad, so the audience was not what you would think it was my go-to audience, right? They were all 50 and up.
For people that don't know who your dad is, can you explain?
Tony Orlando, famous singer in the 70s, knocked 3 times, tie yellow ribbon.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's also like a legend, which is crazy to me that's like, it's not like Rocky Gordon Maida. It's like, no offense.
Yeah, damn.
Rocky Gordon,
We'll
Rocky
cut that
G.
out. We'll cut it out.
Can we just cut? He plays the
Let's
saxophone.
bleep it out so he doesn't know. Well,
Okay.
now you blew it with the saxophone, so now he knows.
He plays the
You're
drums.
talking about Kenny G.
Fuck Kenny G. I think he did steal my dad's career.
Okay, there we go. A thief.
Did you? Yeah.
Wait, is that true?
No, this is true.
Wait, stop. Wait, stop. Hold on.
I'm
Kenny
not
G. Wait,
kidding.
whoa. Kenny G.
Ken saw footage of my father.
Playing what?
curly hair.
What did he steal?
I will show you. I will show you. If I could pull it up right now.
Really? Kenny G playing Ave Maria? And
No,
you're
Ken
like,
saw footage of my dad, I believe, in the 80s.
okay.
And I think that he stole his look, his vibe.
Okay.
And he got Kenny G. Everyone knows Rocky G is Rocky G. My dad.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So is G even what his last name starts with, Kenny G? If not, you have a solid case. Like if his last name is Robertson.
No, because I'm going to Google a stupid name. I did a whole episode with Katie Cazorla, another comedian who I'm obsessed
Katie.
with. You know, okay.
I haven't talked to her in ages.
She's opening
nail.
up a
She had the
comedy
nail.
club. Nail files.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She fucking hates Kenny
On
G.
E! Channel back in the day.
That's right.
I knew her
That's right. When
before
I
that
met
show.
her. You did?
Mm-hmm.
She was an amazing guest, and she's been my friend for over 20 years.
Wow.
And she hates Kenny G. She literally opened the podcast interview with
Hating on Kenny G?
Fuck Kenny G.
Wow.
And had a crazy story.
How could you hate Kenny G?
fucking
What did
hates
he
him.
do to her?
Kenneth Bruce Gorelick, known professionally as
What is this? Okay.
Ken G.
So your case is a little thin now.
How
No?
is it thin?
Well, his last name does start with a G.
Yeah.
So that's just called a coincidence.
Kenny G, Rocky G,
Right.
curly hair,
So
wears a suit.
that's everyone in the 80s. Keep going.
I think.
What else you got? It's thin.
I think it's pretty obvious. I don't think I need to continue.
Well,
going
let's
into
call
detail.
let's shout out your sponsor. Who's your lawyer?
Chris at Pacific West Injury Law Firm.
Let's see if we have a case, Chris.
Do we have a case, Chris?
Yeah.
Is Kenny G? Did Kenny G steal my father's career?
Rocky G.
Rocky G.
Let's see.
Oh
Let's
my
just
God,
file
this
it.
was so-
I'll get it on TMZ in a
Oh
heartbeat.
my God, let's file it.
Call Jason
Let's just
Beckerman
do
over
it.
at TMZ. It's up.
Who are we calling?
Jason Beckerman's a lawyer at TMZ.
Can you just look in the camera and say that?
This is, Jason Beckerman, breaking news for TMZ.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky G is who we should know as the most famous saxophonist
Yes.
ever.
Alto.
Instead, it's Kenny G. Because
Sometimes
Kenny G's a
soprano.
thief. Okay, let's break that on TMZ. Can we break it?
Ladies and gentlemen, you did hear it.
He's
here
a thief.
First,
Kenny
so
G is a thief.
That's all I needed you to say. That's all I needed on the record.
I'll claim it's AI.
Say less. So we both have really famous fathers.
By the way,
and that's
I
not
didn't
easy.
know, I didn't know say less until a month and a half ago.
What does that mean?
I didn't know that saying until a month and a half ago.
Did you hear people saying it?
Yeah, no. So my buddy Raz, who's an influencer or whatever, he's I'm meeting him up at Red Rock he says, "Are you coming over here?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be there I could be there at 10." And he goes, "Say less." This is all text. He writes, "Say less." So I fire back.
Stop. What?
I fire back and I go, all right, I could probably be there by like 9:30. He's like, what? And then he calls me and he's like, I said, I'll try. I'll come quicker. I'll be there at 9:30. And he's like, bro, no, say less. Like, meaning like, say no more. Like, you don't have to say anything else. Like, say less. Like, it didn't mean say less time.
And that's
I didn't know. That was my
how
intro
you
to
found
say
out
less.
say less?
Literally in November. This past
we're
November.
in February.
Yeah,
How are
maybe
you
December.
communicating?
I don't know.
Okay.
I write letters. I send them.
With a fucking pigeon carrier? Like, how old are you, John? Say
No.
less?
Yeah, I don't know. Say less. I didn't know.
Okay, let's
So now
do
when I
that.
text him, I just fire all the WYD, TTYL. Like I don't. Now I'm
What does
relentless.
WID mean to you?
What you doing?
Ooh, burn. What does TTYL mean?
Talk to you later.
Damn.
Yeah.
What does Riz mean?
What is it?
You got a lot of Riz.
How spell it?
RICZ. Riz.
I got nothing.
Travis, I know that I can count on you, my sweet Gen Zer.
I mean, come on, John. Riz Pharma. The idea, Riz, like it's like game. It's like, do you got game or do you have Riz?
It's
like,
literally like the short word for like charisma.
charisma.
Like,
There you go. Like, what's your Riz? Like, how you gonna Riz a girl?
And
you got
even
a lot
now it
of
relates to
Riz.
Riz Pharma. That's the
I
deal.
think so because it's like
Oh my
primarily
God.
male enhancement. Or
I had
whatever.
no idea.
Wait, what do you think it is? Male enhancement?
No. There's a company that's sponsoring some of our shows here called Riz
no, that's
Pharma.
Riz. No, that's Riz.
No. There's
Is it
also
Riz?
a Riz.
There is a Riz.
R-I-Z-Z. There is R-I-I-Z-E also.
Okay.
Which is where Lana is. Are they related to Riz?
I don't think so.
No.
Different.
No, Riz is just slang, babe.
Right.
It's like the cooler version of WYD, which was literally popular in, I don't
Of What
fucking
You
know,
Doing?
2010?
Okay.
All right, you want to give me some of your slang? What are some things you like to say?
Catch you later.
Were you an Eat My Shorts guy?
Peace out. No, I was never an Eat My Shorts guy, but that's a good line in the Breakfast Club.
Eat My Shorts is a good line.
Yeah.
We could bring it back.
Bender says it. Eat
Yeah.
my shorts. What did you say? Eat my shorts.
That's a fucking burn if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
It is.
One of the best movies ever, Breakfast Club.
So good.
So good. He's never
Also-
seen it. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah. I've seen it. I even made a
did?
parody of it in high school called The Brunch Bunch.
Wait, you were in the parody?
like it.
Yeah, I filmed it.
Travis
in high
is
school.
funny.
Yeah, I'm funny sometimes.
Travis is so funny.
Yeah. Travis Engineering. Do you want to know what an honor this is?
No, this is a huge
You have
honor.
Travis Flesher engineering a podcast. I don't think he's done that since maybe the 24-hour last year
Yeah,
for a
it's-
spot.
You know,
Oh my
sometimes
God. And that would have literally have been when we met, was the 24-hour show, remember?
Right.
Yeah.
This is such a full
You came in and lit that thing on fire.
True.
That was
Did
my
I?
favorite segment last year.
Stop.
100%.
John!
100%.
Keep going!
100%.
Say you love me.
Say less.
Say less.
I can bring
Yeah,
it back.
that was so much fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. So you run the company and you have your own podcast. And
He runs the
you're-
company. That guy.
You
Travis.
both do. You both
No,
do.
trust.
I operate the business. He finds the
does it.
network.
Okay, I don't know why you're yelling. I'm just trying to compliment.
Oh, okay. I was
Jesus
just being
Christ.
honest. I'm being
You're
authentically
a
me.
loser. You don't do anything.
Better. Mhm.
Shut up.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, sorry.
Do you take compliments well, or that's hard for you?
No, I take them well. Go ahead. Fire off a couple. Go ahead. Do
You
some
look
more.
nice.
More.
You got a lot of riz.
Thanks. Oh,
Hey!
I like that.
You're the boss.
I like that.
You the man, bitch. What if some girl said that to you? What if you were like on a date and some girl was like, you the man, bitch? I think that's why I lit up the 24-hour show. I was still very much in my drag culture with all the gays.
Right?
And I didn't know everyone was so heterosexual. And I was like, work, honey. And everyone was like, what the fuck is she
That's
talking
funny.
about?
Work,
That's
honey.
like, work, honey. Say it. Let me hear you say it.
Work, honey.
Ooh,
You're funny.
Sam.
I like it.
You're
Do
funny.
you go to the gay clubs out here? Are there? Where are they? Do they have them?
There's a few gay clubs, but it's
There's
not
the famous
like
one by Hard Rock or
There's
whatever.
Piranha, yeah,
Right.
there's
By Virgin,
Piranha.
which is funny. Now that's by Virgin.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a few gay clubs. You know what? Honestly, and I don't know if you feel like this too, I really don't go out anymore. Like
I
I
don't
do
go
my shows and then I go home. It's different. Like
I
this
can't
whole
do it.
lifestyle of just not drinking, of being so aware of what I'm eating.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. But I was never a big drinker. Even when it's funny, when I did stand up, when I sing, I never drink. I
Yeah.
feel like it takes me out of the control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you
I never
I
drank.
know you don't drink now. Oh, you never drank?
No,
Did you ever drink growing up, or you just
No.
weren't a drinker?
never. Hate the taste.
Really?
Yeah, never drank.
That's crazy.
I've had drinks, like a shot,
yeah.
just to make everybody happy. Like it's a birthday or a thing. I'm gonna do a shot, and they pressure you into it. But if you saw my face, I don't.
Yeah, but you're not a drinker.
No.
When you would do stand up, was that in a time where? Because listen, belittle it as much as you want. You were in LA,
Yeah. No.
or you were
I
in.
never did clubs. I was in Branson.
That's right.
I've
you did
never performed on
Branson.
Sunset.
For any reason, or you just
No.
were like.
Well, I started,
so
my
busy in
career was
Branson.
reverse. I started, my first time on stage was to 2,000 people, opening for my dad.
That's so crazy.
I had to do 5 minutes.
and I want
did
you to
my
explain.
whole act in 2 minutes, talking 100 miles per hour, sweating like a pig. And it was awful. And Entertainment Tonight was in the audience, like shooting it. Somehow they pieced together, 6 seconds of me talking. It was terrible.
Wait, I
was
feel
awful.
like people don't also know though that 5 minutes is
eternity
long.
in the beginning.
Yes.
It's eternity.
It's so long. So 2 minutes is actually still good. What'd you talk about?
I talked about the bugs in Missouri. So we had just moved to Branson. I was like talking about bugs or something. It was fucking terrible. It was so bad. And I wrote the material the night before because I'm procrastinating. I'd never been on stage before.
How old were you?
22. Never did open mic night. Nothing. Was just funny at the living room table. Dad was like, yeah, try stand up.
So you're 22 and your dad's like, all right, try stand up. And your first set ever, which was supposed to be 5 minutes, is 2 minutes.
2 minutes,
'cause
July
you've been
3rd,
through-
1993.
July 3rd.
Yep.
Oh, and I bet those fucking bugs were huge in Branson.
Forget
in the
it.
Summertime, disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting. It's terrible.
You had every right to talk about them.
Yeah.
Did the bug community come after you?
Back then, that wasn't a
afterwards?
thing.
Okay. There was
Yeah.
no woke culture.
Luckily, I didn't have to do that set now.
Yeah, no,
I would have been canceled.
You would have offended the bug community.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ladybugs all over the place would have Me Too'd you.
100%.
Thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Entertainment Tonight, do they still have the footage or we can burn that?
God, I hope not. I don't know. It was bad. It was so bad.
You know what's so funny though? I feel like every comedian feels like that. I fucking bought my very first stand-up show was Valentine's Day.
Really?
And
That was my last.
no way. No way.
Yep.
What happened that made it the last?
Valentine's Day 2002. Well, I started the PR firm.
Oh, so you
and
just were like,
my
I'm
last-
done doing stand-up.
Yeah,
for a
because I was
minute.
like, I can't be a publicist or own a PR firm and like be on stage and be taken seriously. And I was kind of burned out after 10 years. My last show was here in Vegas at the Palace Station. They had a comedy club called Laugh Tracks at the Palace Station.
Yeah.
And I was headlining that week, and they came to me. So then that was also culture shock. So I really didn't do that many clubs because I started by opening for my dad, and then I used to open for like big, like Tom Jones, Paul Anka, Dionne Warwick, The Four Tops, The Temptations, Faith Hill before she was famous, Shania Twain before she was famous, like big people, but never clubs and different audience. And so when I got to the clubs, like I was kind of fish out of water, but they had me like as the closer because I had 10 years under my belt or whatever, but
Yeah,
it's
with
a
a
different
crazy
10.
resume.
It was different. Yeah, a crazy resume, but it's still different. It's just different, you know?
Yeah. Clubs are hard.
And so closing back then was maybe a 40-minute set, I think. And I didn't really even have 40 minutes. I had like 20 minutes, but I was a monster with crowd work. I could do crowd work for 40 minutes.
I was gonna ask.
And
That's
I'd
what, when
be
I
like,
said,
you'd
do
be
you
like,
do-
Matt Rife who? No, I don't mean it like that. Matt
Stop.
Rife's amazing with crowd
No,
work.
but I know
I
what
can
you mean.
hang with crowd work with Howie Mandel, with anybody.
That's what I meant when I
yeah.
asked about improv. So
Right,
you're a crowd
right.
work guy.
Yeah, I could
That's
I could do
amazing.
that for hours and never run out of stuff. But in this case in the club, I didn't really do that. I just did like my quote unquote set and then tried to stretch it out a little bit, whatever. It was bad. So bad. I was there for a week.
At Palace Station?
Yeah, at Palace Station. So bad that after the second night, they came to me, and I remember there was a comedian named Peter Berman who was really great. He was middling then, and they came, and I was miserable. I was like, because I had to follow him, and I was like, this sucks, you know.
God,
and
that
but I didn't
sucks.
say anything, you know, because I was embarrassed. I didn't know what to do, you know. And they came to the guy. I forgot the guy that ran the club, whatever. He came to me and was like, hey, how would you feel if you and Peter, if we flip-flopped you guys? And I was like, thank you. And he was like, we'll still pay you headliner money, but but let's just flip-flop you. And I was like, even if you got to not pay me headliner money, like, fine. Even if I got to donate to the cause, fine. Like, get me out of here. This is awful. Yeah, it was awful. Yeah. I'm a better host that can make you laugh, not a stand-up.
Did you ever host comedy shows, or is that something that you would do now?
No, I don't really have a desire to do it. I always tell Vanessa, like, my life plan, and I don't even know if I'm serious. It's kind of half a joke, half serious maybe, but like maybe when I'm 65, I get back on stage.
Yeah, I love that. What's the
like
magic of 65?
I don't know, just older, and I'm like I'll never retire, so like that would be my way of retiring. Like I would just like, let me get back up there. Now I think I'd be a monster on stage, actually. I think it'd be really good.
Yeah.
I don't mean that arrogantly. I've got more life experience. I know, I get it more now. I didn't know what I was doing back then. Like I was, and when you're in Branson, the stat in Branson, 2,000 people in the audience.
Listen, this is what's crazy about us.
Yeah.
They did American Idol concerts in Branson.
Yes, they did.
And I know Branson because I did the American
at the Grand
Idol
Palace.
concerts. That's how we found out that we knew Kim Caldwell so well.
Okay.
And
got it.
I know that Branson audience very well. It's a very specific audience.
Very specific. Mm-hmm. So, I'm 1 out of every 100 people is under the age of 65 in Branson. 1 out of 100. There's 2,000 people out there. So,
Yeah.
It's just different. I was 22. Like, good luck with that, So I know how to kill the Branson audience. Like I can fillet those people.
You can go to senior homes and just destroy.
Destroy. But Catskills, I crushed. I was the happiest in the Catskills. Working at Villa Roma, the Concord. Yeah, back in the day.
That's crazy though, because I feel like it's also what you're like sort of not acknowledging is it actually doesn't matter the crowd. Stand-up is really hard.
I agree with that.
It's really hard.
I agree with that.
It's so intimate.
Yeah.
And it's so personal. And I found so much relief actually because I did stand up. I started in 2013 and then I stopped doing stand up for a while because it's so difficult.
Yeah, it's hard.
And when I started interviewing other comedians, thanks to you in this podcast, that is the number one thing that comics say. Like you don't know the audience. It could be the jokes that you've always done.
Yeah, same material, different city,
bomb,
different reaction.
Yeah, and you really get used to being awful.
Right.
So that when you have the good nights, you're like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because and when you bomb and stand up,
oh, it's brutal.
It's awful.
I remember opening for my dad in Atlantic City on New Year's Eve, and I remember he was like. I was like, well, so what time? I said, how long do I do? And he says, wait, you're gonna go up this weekend? And I was like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? Like I opened for him for 10 years. And he was like, Atlantic City is a little tough on New Year's. I don't know if that's a good idea. And I was like, what do you mean? And this was me fresh off of like being on tour with Tom Jones. I was actually like killing it. I was like in the pocket right now. Like this was what I would consider at my peak.
Yeah.
Like it finally all started clicking in year 8. Of like outside of Branson,
Yeah.
And
they say, by the way, to be fair, it takes 10 years to actually hone your craft.
100%.
It takes 10 full years.
100%.
To finally, for one time, be like,
yeah.
Oh, I can do a good show.
Again, to use Matt Rife as an example, he's been at it about 10 years now.
Yeah. But other comics, even our girl Katie, 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
And they're just starting to pop off.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at
so he's like, I don't know if you want to do that. It's not good. I was like, what do you just can't. And he had just surprised me. He flew into Iowa to watch me open for Tom Jones, and I killed it. Got a standing ovation in 20 minutes. Standing ovation, 20 minutes.
Oh my God, that's major.
Okay, so I'm like, what? Were you not the same guy that was just out with me? Like, are you kidding? I'm gonna annihilate these people. I get out there and I start doing my shit. Crickets, and it's New Year's Eve, so they've given everyone the noisemakers. Because my dad, it's a 10 o'clock show. So I'm going to do 10 to 10:30, and then my dad's going to take them all the way home to midnight, right? So they've got those noisemakers, and brr, brr, right? They start fucking doing that shit, brr, brr, like while I'm up there. Literally after 10 minutes, I bail out. I'm like,
Jon!
I wrap it up. I come off. This motherfucker is laughing in the wings, my dad. He's laughing. He's like, told ya. And he's not like that. Like he's very supportive, but he was like, told you, he goes out there, basically tells a fucking knock joke, and the place is like, ah. Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck you, Jon Orlando.
Yeah, it was
legend
brutal.
that I say very respectfully. I just was trying to stand up for Jon Orlando, but
Right?
also you have my loyalty, Tony Orlando.
You need to have him on.
Love you so much.
You actually should have him on because a lot of people opened for him early in their career. Brad Garrett.
Well, listen,
Jay Leno.
That was such a good time. I feel like
Rosie.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
I feel like that we don't have that anymore. Like you don't have comics opening for singers anymore.
No.
And that was such a great time. I mean, you had to have seen so much shit.
Oh my God. I mean, Gary Shandling opened for my dad.
That's
Letterman
crazy.
opened for my dad.
That's
Steve Martin opened for my dad.
Yeah, I'd love to have him on.
Yeah.
What was your favorite interaction or one of your favorite interactions that you had?
With him?
Either as a stand-up comic yourself or a comedian that came to do your dad's show.
Stand-up wise, the first time I opened for Tom Jones and I got the standing ovation in front of my dad, and I didn't know my dad was there in the audience. He came in to surprise me, and I came off, and there's Tom standing next to my dad, and I was just like, oh my God. And I felt like I hit the home run. It's one thing you'll relate because you were on American Idol. What I love about American Idol is it doesn't matter. Obviously, if you go on, you want to win. I get it. It's watching someone get their moment, like especially when they get it to Hollywood Week and they got Hollywood lights and sound and that band behind them. And when they nail it, even if they don't make top 12, even if they don't make whatever, they just nail the one performance. And the thought of they've got that tape for their friends and their family, like they went their whole life, right? Singing in the bathroom, singing in the shower, singing in the car, and you fucking nailed it. I love that for people, you know? And like I had that moment. It's in my head forever with Tom Jones. And I had another one like opening for Paul Anka to 5,000 people in an amphitheater in upstate New York. Like those two stand-up moments for me, those specific ones, is like, wow, like I did it. Like whatever. I didn't become famous doing it. I didn't sell out MSG or whatever, but I, for 20 minutes, nailed it. Like a couple of times, 10 years. But you know what I mean? Like to just know you nailed it. So on the stand-up side, it's that. On my dad's side, there's a lot. I mean...
Wait, I want you to answer that,
go.
but I want you to tell me why Paul Anka was so special for you.
Same thing, just he's an icon. 5,000 people was the biggest that I had done. Most of my shows were 1,500 to 2,000 people, which is still a lot of people. I did one time. I opened for my dad at a music at a festival in Idaho in Boise, Riverfest. It was like 100,000 people, but that doesn't count because like no one's listening to you. Like it's like a barn, like a long field, and like no, the first 5 rows are listening to you. Everyone else is drunk and eating potatoes. So it doesn't
it's like
count.
doing stand up in Vegas,
right?
You're
Yeah,
like, fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, just like for Paul Anka, like that was just. I don't know. He's got an orchestra behind him. It's like a 27-piece orchestra or whatever it is, and he comes out in a tux or whatever. And it just felt like, wow, like it's Paul Anka, man.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Yeah. And then also back east is tough for me. Like I had the Atlantic City debacle, so felt like a little East Coast redemption. Yeah.
East
Coast was tougher audience.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
All right. And with your dad?
With my dad, it's tough. There's so many.
I know.
I mean, I'll go quick. Like,
you don't have to go quick.
There's
a
lot of
know.
memories at Dodger Stadium because we had season tickets back in the heyday of my dad being famous, like in the '70s. So we would go back in the locker room and hang out with Tommy Lasorda. And like, I remember one time it was a night game that went extra innings. So the game starts at 7:00 and extra. The game ended at like almost midnight. And then afterwards, Tommy was hungry, so we went up to like the stadium club level back then into the restaurant. They would like save food for him or whatever. So just me, my dad, and Tommy walking through the hallways. There are cleaning crews there, cleaning out the stadium. It's now 2:00 in the morning because we just finished eating and shooting the shit with Tommy. And then we're walking back to go downstairs and get in the cars and leave. And Tommy's still in his uniform, so that he's wearing his metal cleats and the sound the cleats made in the hallway and the echo. And it's just us. And I remember he was holding my hand and I was like 10 years old. And my dad's walking behind us, and I remember Tommy saying, "Do you know how many kids would love to be walking through this hall right now with the skipper, with Tom, your Uncle Tom Lasorda?" It's like that memory of like, obviously it's because of my dad, was really cool. And then as I've gotten older, seeing how famous people take to my dad. Like Adam Sandler threw his Hollywood party. This is like 10 years ago maybe. And Tom Morello was there. You know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm standing next to my dad, and my dad's taking a picture, like, it's star-studded, you know, because it's Adam's party. So it's like, my dad's taking a picture with, like, Taylor Lautner and Vanilla Ice, and here's Tom Morello standing. So I'm taking the photo, and I finish taking the photo, and then Tom recognizes my dad, but doesn't know that I'm his son, and Tom goes, holy shit, that's Tony Orlando. And I heard him say it right next to me. Tom Morello. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Rage Against the Machine, like, gives a flying fuck about my dad. Like, I remember I was in Cabo once for a celebrity golf tournament, and Tommy Lee was there, and we're all just, like, hanging out, and someone brought up my dad or something, and he was like, wait, who's your dad? And I was like, Tony Orlando. And he's like, Tony Orlando's your father? Like, Tommy Lee was going, like, fucking nuts. And we called my dad from Cabo because he wanted to talk to my dad. Like, just shit like that. Like,
was that around the same time Tommy Lee filmed the infamous video with Pam? Or that
it was right around that. Yeah, I think it was after that. This was, like, would have been 02 or 03.
I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, well, it was around that time.
But I'm sure, it was.
Yeah,
I was just being funny. Just saying he was on the boat with Pam. Making that phone call.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know, it's so crazy. And I always love to hear these stories, particularly yours, because I love you so much.
I love you too.
Love you. That's right. But I feel like, you know, we live like so many different types of lives.
100%.
We will go our whole life living multiple lives.
100%.
And the time goes by so fast. You know, it's been 20 years since I did American Idol.
Yeah.
And it feels like just yesterday.
It's over 20 years since I was on stage.
Yeah, yeah. And you're like, in the moment, you're not thinking like, oh God, let me like remember this. You know, like let me remember having this moment.
You don't take it in. Yeah.
And then 20 years later, you talk about it and you're like,
yeah, that's getting old.
Fuck, I was, but it's also like, I am, or I was, or I forever will be like, that motherfucker. Like, you did all of those things.
Yeah.
Like, even in the ugliest, nastiest moments where you're like mean or having like whatever, you remember all those things that you did. And I feel like we take it for granted. And even now,
I agree.
We won't remember how impactful it was.
Which is what I love about doing podcasts. Because now it's documented. Like, I came from a time where, like, there was no social media. There's no phones with cameras. So, like, there's so many, like, I opened for all those people I just rattled off. I don't have
no footage.
I don't have one photo. I didn't even take photos. I don't know why. I wasn't, like, a big picture guy. Like, what was I thinking?
Do you think you didn't take pictures because everyone always took pictures with your dad and it was just like...
I don't know. I just never took them.
Yeah. It also
all
wasn't
the celebrities
a social
I've met.
media thing.
Yeah, there was no social media. But like all the celebs I met, all the baseball players, all the stars, Robert De Niro, Chevy Chase. I mean, just from meeting through my dad, it's insane.
Yeah. It honestly, it actually is so insane because now that we're friends, I watch how people respond when you talk about your dad and the amount of respect. I obviously have so much respect as a singer for your dad, and I don't think it matters what age, but people lose their minds, and the life that you've had to live because of that is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't know any different, you know, but watching how people receive him is really a cool thing. Like right now, he just announced he's retiring in March. So in March 22nd, he's got this big show at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. But he just did the last 3 Vegas shows last weekend.
Yeah.
And, you know, completely sold out. Like, I couldn't even get a seat. I invited people thinking I could get, like, normal comps that we get. I couldn't even get them. I had to bring them backstage to watch from the side. Like, there was literally not a seat in the house. But just seeing how people are, and, like, people reaching out to me, like, fans and stuff that I don't even know, you know, sending me like they're depressed, literally saying, I'm happy, like he's doing what he wants, but I'm depressed. Like I'm not going to see him sing anymore.
Yeah.
And you didn't even think of it like that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I will ask you, knowing that you have, you started 20 years ago, which was such a different time. You've really watched with a crazy lens what it's like to grow up in Hollywood.
Yeah.
More years ago than that. Running a podcast studio, which is, you've really like respectfully gone with the times. Like you've sort of just continued navigating through what's working, which kudos to you, because I feel like people get stuck in their ways or they don't know how to do it or they don't want to move with technology. And it's unfortunate, but it happens. Is it crazy to see the different type of ways that comedians are becoming famous now than it was that many years ago. I guess that could be any career.
I was just going to say, people in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what social media has opened up for people, I mean, to me, like the influencers, even though I hate that name, but that's what we call them, right?
Yeah.
But influencers are the new top A-list celebs. I mean, there's people that, you know, big actors that have Oscars on the wall that don't even have a 10% of the following of some of these people on social media.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy, you know. But it's cool that, you know, I always hated, you know, I really wanted to be an actor. Like I really wanted to be like a sitcom star.
Oh, wow.
I was horrible at the audition process. Absolutely horrible.
Same.
Or I would have loved to have been like Jay Leno. Like I could be Jay Leno or Jimmy Kimmel literally tomorrow. No problem. But what it takes to get that shot, the business side of it, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal, especially back then, you know, going on 100.
I think they have it a little bit easier now.
It's easier
It was
now.
very hard.
You know, and now you can argue like you could have, you know, this podcast is the gateway to that maybe. And I would also argue like I have a friend, she lives in LA. She really wants to be the next Ellen. And she does a podcast from her like her
First things first, is she gay?
No. But I'm just
No, it's not.
But like I told her like, but do you? I'm like, she's like, I will have a show. I'm like, but you have one now.
I know.
I know what she means. Like it's not on NBC. I get it. But
NBC's not on NBC. Dude, it's not.
Right.
There's no wait like there used to be.
Right. And like I'd almost argue, other than financially, if you get to that level, the money is amazing, right? But other than that, be happy on YouTube. Like, be happy you don't have guys in suits telling you what to say.
Yeah.
And now your goal is, how do I monetize it? Maybe you're not going to get to the 20 million a year. Well, you could. I mean, there's plenty of influencers making 20 million a year. Plenty.
Yeah.
Not easy, but it's changing, and it's changing day by day. I think more and more corporate sponsors will be jumping on shows like this. Like, it's still early. Like in 5.
Do you think it's still early?
Oh, 100%. You hopefully will get there, but you also have to be open, and I have to be open, that we may be like how pro athletes feel that played when we were 20s and 30s, in our 20s and 30s, and they made what they made. But like now, the Dodgers have a guy, Shohei Ohtani. He just signed a $700 million contract for 10 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is crazy when like you think like Barry Bonds didn't make $700 million in his career.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy to me? And I mean this wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And not for any other reason than what the fuck is $700 million? Like you can have a really, and I think this is where we lose it a little bit. You can have a really great career that you really love.
Yeah.
And make enough money to sustain yourself and
For
still have
sure.
a good life. Like, we are getting to a place, I think, where like, how fucking much money can you have? Like,
No.
I'm saying it in the sense of just like, the goals are just so different for people now. Like,
this is what I don't want to say argue with my dad, but this is what I talk about with my dad all the time, because I'm very like I want more. Like I want millions and millions and millions. My dad's always like, every time I see you, like my dad's very complimentary, like, Jon, what you built, the studio and this and that, you know, the house, the car, it's nice.
Is that what he calls you, Jono?
Yeah. But I'm always like, and I always have a look of like, yeah, but I'm not, I still feel like I'm struggling. Like I still feel like I'm not, like I can't, if I wanted to go to Australia next week, first class for 2 weeks, I can't do that. Like I can't I couldn't take off like that. I mean, I guess I could, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And like financially, like we just did a pool. Like, so it's like I'd need more time to go do that. I mean, yeah, we could just throw it on a fucking credit card, but that'd be dumb. Like, do you know what I mean? Like there's things like that.
I think that correlates a little bit with even just us talking about your stand-up career, because I feel like, and I say this is like your family, like I love you very much.
I love you too.
That's right. I feel like you even downplayed the 10 years that you did stand-up. Like, I feel like you're like, well, I didn't do the clubs, so I didn't do that. Well, I'm not doing that. And I was like, bro, you hit you were at such a peak. Like, you did so much.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. That's all I did.
I mean, and that's
I didn't have a day job.
Well, and that's amazing.
And I made a lot of money.
But with that, do you feel like, because we do talk about trauma, and I know that you don't have any, trauma, especially from childhood, but is there a part of you
Just from them beating me.
that feels, I don't want to talk about that. It's too depressing. Sucks. Just kidding. They did it. Do you think that there's a part of you that wants more to feel like, do you feel like you're good enough? I'm also in therapy a lot, so.
Yeah, I feel like I'm good enough. I want the fuck you money. I want fuck you money.
Yeah.
I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to, obviously myself, but like, I would like to be able to like, I'm the person that if I was in a restaurant and it was holiday time and my sweet old lady waitress seemed like, blah, 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 she could use a pick me up, whatever. I'd love to leave her a $10,000 tip. Like I would
you want the
totally
freedom to do that.
I want to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I hear that. That.
But my dad's always like, you never enjoy where you're at. Like he's like, you go to all the sporting events you want to for free. You don't even buy tickets, right? Dana White gives you tickets. The Dodgers give you tickets. This person gives you tickets. Marcus Allen invites you to the Raiders game. You're in the box, in the owner's box with Mark Davis. Like you drive the nice Mercedes. You live in the nice $1 million house. What more? You got the hot girl. What do you need?
True.
Like you eat where you want to eat. Like what is it that would change if you had $10 million in the bank? Is what my dad will always say.
So what is it?
And I get it. Why
don't you enjoy the moment?
I don't know. I don't know.
But what is it?
I don't know. I need to lay on a couch for hours and get to the bottom of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just genuine curiosity.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like just want
because just
more.
getting to know, I feel like I do know you, but getting to know you more. Yeah, you do. Like it would appear that you have so many of the things, but I will equate it to this. I feel like even with me saying like, how much money can you have? There are other desires that I want. Like you could also fairly look at me and be like, well, you did American Idol. Well, you did all these things. Well, you did, what more do you want? Like you should be, and I'm like, never. I'm like, so I want to do more. And for me, it always stemmed down to, I didn't feel, I'm working through it right now. Like I didn't feel that there was like enough. I want to more because really like deep down, like I didn't feel like I was enough. Mm-hmm. So that's me. That's a me thing. That's not a you situation.
It's not you. It's me.
It's not you. It's me. And why it's so amazing that you and I met the way that we met was because I was very, 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 very humbled at the end of 2022. Mm-hmm. Not that I need to be humbled. I don't feel like I've ever been so like an ego girl. Like I'm not like that, but I definitely fucking had an ego death when we met. And I joke about having to practice vulnerability, but I when we met, I had to. I moved back to Vegas, and the way that we met was crazy through a podcast that I didn't even want to do. No offense to Christina. I was very depressed and didn't feel like sitting in a podcast studio. I didn't want to do it.
Why'd you do it?
I have no idea. I think I did it because I genuinely, I don't know, because I didn't want to be completely transparent. And I remember walking up and I was so annoyed. I was just not with anybody.
Does she know any of that?
Nothing. But it wasn't about her. I was feeling so low about myself.
Yeah.
And she wanted to talk about my wins. And I was like, I don't have any wins. I'm a fucking loser.
That's how you felt.
Lost my job. I spent all of my savings on an album that who knows if it'll do well. I've moved back to Vegas. I'm living with my mother-in-law because the house is tenant. Like I just had a birthday and I was like, I'm such a loser. And then I came in here and George came in and he goes, you look like a doll. And I was like, what? I was so heavy and I was bloated and I was sick and my belly was hurting and I sorry, I don't even know why I'm crying. It's interviewing you.
I like it.
It was such a low point for me, and maybe nobody would have known that. And then when I had the opportunity to talk to you and create this, I was so scared. I didn't understand the podcast world. I was coming from radio, and life was so different, and so much was happening. And, aside from being my friend and being a comic and all of these things, like, maybe you don't have the $10,000 to give to a waitress, but the opportunity that you gave to me at a time where I desperately needed it only a year ago is something that will stick with me for the rest of my life, and something that will make me very loyal to you forever, because I really, really did need so much help, and it appeared in such a different way to so many people, and I was so embarrassed to be vulnerable or ask for help. And for whatever reason, I even DM'd you. I was like, look, I'm just really going through it right now, and I just need a little help. And you were like, all right, cool, great. And I'm in a good place this year, a much better place. But I definitely would not have been if you hadn't given me that opportunity that you gave me to sort of build and figure it out and create it. And this was nothing. It was just an idea that I had out of desperation when iHeart said they didn't want it. And that didn't feel good either. And, I think you have to fail a bunch of times to get on some sort of track.
Sure.
And I just want to thank you for that, because I know that you don't have like maybe all the things that you want, but I think that you helped me so much, and I'm so grateful for that.
That's awesome.
And I'm so grateful for your friendship and your career as a comic, and the stories that you tell about your dad and the things that you're doing and your innovative ways of thinking. Look, going into a podcast business, especially if it's still growing, is terrifying, but very cool to watch. Like, it's like, God, you got a lot of balls. Let's see how it fucking goes.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
so
cool.
Good. Congratulations to you for being wonderful.
I like it.
I appreciate you so much.
Good stuff.
If you want to listen to your podcast,
don't.
Just don't. It's not that good.
We're on Spotify, Action Junkies. We have our big 24-hour show coming up again in April. April this year. April, we moved it to April.
Coming.
Yeah. Are you coming back on?
No, I've done enough for you. Wait, but for people that don't know, what is Action Junkies?
We just talk about stuff I like. I kind of treat it like how Rogan treats his, just has people on that he wants to talk to.
I know, but it does give that sort of Jay Leno vibe, what you're wanting to do.
But yeah, I'm a huge UFC fan, so we have a lot of UFC-related people on. I play a lot of poker, play a lot of blackjack, so I have gamblers on, sports bettors. But we have cops on, Navy SEALs, we have porn stars, we just had a girl on that's got this crazy long tongue, Layla Fleet, like Gene Simmons, illegitimate daughter probably. I don't know. No, she's
Wait,
not, but
what does she do for a living?
OnlyFans.
No.
Yeah, that stuff,
Sure, makes sense. Good for her.
With the tongue.
Yeah, obviously.
Long tongue.
It's either that or live in wildlife with reptiles. There's just two options only. So good for her.
Right, yeah. And she hates the taste of bugs. So she was like, you know what?
Don't go to Branson.
Yeah, don't go to Branson.
And don't go on July 3rd.
Bad.
Fucking loser.
So bad.
I'm upset. I want to hear that. Do you remember any of it?
No, I don't. Let's just forget it.
You know what? Okay, but do you ever feel like there's one moment, because I do sometimes feel like this. I'm like, damn, I wish I had more footage. Is part of you relieved that you don't have footage of some of that time in your life?
100%.
Would you have been canceled?
No, I wouldn't have been canceled because I was squeaky clean. I was squeaky clean on stage back then, but just it was bad. When I looked at, I remember I had VHS tapes of it, and when I would watch those, I'd be like, what kind of father allows someone to just embarrass themselves on stage like that?
To be fair, he told you about Atlantic City.
He did tell me about Atlantic City,
and you're like,
but
fuck
Branson,
you, bitch, Tom Jones.
Branson was brutal for that first year. Brutal. Twice a day, 6 days a week.
But listen to me.
Yeah.
I want you to drill home to comedians watching this or anybody doing anything. You fucking bombed for
it's okay to be bad.
Year.
Yeah, it's okay to be bad.
2 times a day.
Yeah, all right, easy. I wasn't bombing every day. Did you have to make it that bad? You didn't have to make it that bad.
You were so fucking
I had
bad.
moments of glory.
Oh, you had a 2-minute set.
No, we morphed in by the end of the first 6 months. I was a solid 15.
I'm fucking with you. No, I love that. I just like that because I feel like we live in a society where if you bomb one time, you're like, that's it. That's a wrap. That's over.
Yeah. I never would have worked again had social media existed when I was on stage. Tom Jones never would have even. No way. I would have never got the green light to open for anyone.
Tommy.
Even the material I used when I opened for Tom, I literally wrote on the plane from Branson to Iowa. True story.
Shit.
20-minute set. I wrote
What did you talk about? The flight?
all new stuff.
Snacks? What was it? What did you talk about?
I did talk about flying and traveling. I
Mm-hmm.
talked about gambling
Mm-hmm.
and talked about being Tony O's son
Mm-hmm.
and some topical events at the time, like some court cases or whatever's going on in the news.
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, listen,
Yeah.
I hope you do stand up again. I'll do stand up if you do. I do a show with
Yeah.
you.
On my 65th, I'll do
Okay.
it. So
Well, that's next year, so you guys don't have to wait that long. He'll be back in action. I love you so much.
I love you too.
And I
How'd
mean
I do?
it. I mean it. You're such a dear friend to me, and thank you for everything.
Yeah.
And I loved having you on. I will not be asking you back because, well, you don't have any trauma, and
if
that
we
annoys
come
me.
do it again, do we have to be matching pants or what's the deal?
Well, no, we're going to war now.
Okay.
We're leaving here, and we're going
Straight into the foxhole.
straight into the
All right.
fire.
I like it.
Yeah, thank you. I love you so
Thank
much.
you.
Travis, I
Love
love
you
you
too.
so much. And also very,
Love you.
very, very much thank you to you as well. I adore you for everything.
Aw,
As we are, we're coming
So
up
much
on a
love.
year,
Yeah.
but not quite. Love you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
Get out. Get out of my studio.
Go. Just go.
Get out of your own studio.